Hello and welcome everybody to the Home Staging Business Breakthroughs. My name is Tracy McLeod from Australia, and I'm an award-winning home stager here on Australia's beautiful Gold Coast. And with me today, as you know, is the fantastic Bobbie McGrath from Raleigh in North Carolina. And I can never say her name properly. So Bobbie, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. You do make me smile. It's Bobbie McGrath. So it's just
Bobbie McGrath.
McGrath. Yeah, you got to graft. You got to like swallow that. Because you always make me sound sophisticated McGraw or something. And no, it's McGrath. So, yeah, it's great to be here, Tracy.
And tell us about you, Bobbie, about your business, about where you're up to in your business.
Okay, well, been in business 15 years. For the first 10 years, I did both vacant and occupied. At the end of 10 years, I sold off my vacant business to focus in on the occupied side. During that time, over the last 5 years, I really focused in and honed my craft and have created a course I call the Occupied Consultation Specialist. And it's all about creating a top shelf occupied consultation that will not only serve your clients very well as they move forward into the market and make your realtors happy because it makes them look like a rock star, but it's also a very solid foundation so that you too can have a strong six-figure home staging business built on you yourself. I always say me, myself, and I, all three of us. So you can do that through the occupied consultation formula. So that's what I've really been focusing in on. I love to do what I call teaching and preaching, and this is part of it. Tracy's one that helped me to realize my calling into training. I love it. I do coaching as well. I also have folks come in and do job shadowing days with me. I've done writing. We've got co-authored a couple books, Home Staging, The Power That Sells Real Estate, and then marketing for the interior design and home staging industry. So I like to do all of that, and I'm currently creating additional courses because honestly, when I see somebody who wants to do what I've done for the last 15 years, when I see them start off like this and when they go, oh my God, it feeds my soul. So that's me kind of in a nutshell.
That's fantastic. And I know from having talked with you for the last, we're coming up to 2.5 years now, Bobbie, that we've been teaching and preaching and training and learning all at the same time with an audience from the US and from Australia, mainly from the US and Australia. And we do get a few other countries come and join us. But and the reason that that's important is because the knowledge around home staging is universal.
Yes, yes.
You know, you can apply it in your own area and in your own market, but we want to get up close and personal with you today as well and have you asking your questions of us, because your question is probably going to help everybody else. So we'll get more organised in the future, and you'll be able to send in questions beforehand. So, you know, so that we'll be able to get you to step up. If you're happy to step up, we'd love you to speak with us. You don't have to turn your video on, but if you'd like to turn your microphone on, then we can do that, and you can ask your question directly and actually have a dialogue and a conversation around what it is that you want to learn.
Yes. And please don't be shy, because it's just Tracy and me, and we don't usually bite, at least not hard. And the whole point is the questions that you ask are probably the same questions people are thinking themselves, just like Tracy was saying. And once one or two of you kind of break that barrier and start asking questions, it's always amazing to see what comes out of these get-togethers. So I know Tracy and I both really want to encourage you just to reach out. You can type them in if you're more comfortable doing that. You can speak into it, or you can join us and for the whole world to see. It's whatever you would like to do. But please, please, please. And we're looking for those folks who are verbal and who will help us know which direction to go, because we're looking for perhaps a wonderful opportunity for you in the near future.
And that opportunity is great. It's great for us and it's great for you. So we want to create a hub of people who are our beta testers. So we want to invite people to come and help us to build this program and this process. But obviously for you as an engaged part of our community, that will be free of charge while we're beta testing. So, you know, if you're interested in being part of the community ongoing and really creating something great for yourselves, then that is a fantastic opportunity. It's also, there's obviously a lot of other motivated people here on the call, so don't miss out on, you know, getting to know other people. I know that's a bit hard, but you can always stalk them on Facebook, sorry, or friend them, or and you can always, please, please, please friend Bobbie and I on Facebook, because we would love that too. And
well,
so
I have to say, we've got Karina is here, and Deb is here, Gail, Kim, Laura. I never know if it's Laura Lee or Laura Lai, so you'll have to let us know about that. And then there's Sandy. Hey, Sandy, I'm glad you're here. Sandy's one of my OCS students. And then Sherry, no last name. I'm wondering if I know which Sherry that is. And Stephanie. So it's we're really glad to have you guys here.
And Lorelei has said it's Lorelei. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Lorelei. Good. Now we'll say it right.
Yes, that's great. So we want to get to know more about you as well, not just about, you know, home staging, but you as people, and you as what motivates you, what gets you out of bed in the mornings to do your home staging business, what's working for you, what's not working for you. We want to hear your triumphs as well as your tribulations. So please feel free to join us.
And that's what I was wondering. It's actually Cherie from my Raleigh chapter here. So I was wondering if it was you. And I've always said Sherry, so I'm sorry, it's Cherie. Now you'll know I'll always get it right. So Cherie, welcome.
Thank you, Cherie. Thank you for joining us as well. So Bobbie, let's get started. Let's start talking about mindset. Let's define what mindset is. And Cherie, that she forgives you, Bobbie.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. So, well, to me, my mindset, what mindset is it's whatever I decide to set my mind on.
So it's a decision. Number one, it's a decision.
Yes. It's a decision that you get to make each and every day, that you get to actually make each and every minute. And you can take the same event and you can allow it to be a stepping stone, a building block, an educational moment, or you can allow it to tear you down, drag you down, and put you down. And it's amazing when I see the same event happen to two people. Depending on your mindset, you can go either way. So mindset is huge. I wish I had known it as a younger woman, because I would have set my mindset. I would have taken control of it long ago and been in an even better place today.
And I'd have to say that mindset is it's kind of a lot, it's a term that's used a lot at the moment. And I think we kind of, it's being used in a way that means resolve. You know, you're going to go and get something. But mindset is really, as Bobbie said, it's a choice. And it's about deciding which way you're going to go. And that can be a minute by minute decision, because you have a whole lot of programmed responses to life that you will bring out when something happens. So, you know, it can be about controlling or staying calm, or, you know, or using your time better, or collaborating in a different way. There's so many ways that you can make choices. And so we are actually practicing everything that we're preaching to you as well. So I've been practicing this week, Bobbie, to stay positive in the moment. So to be really not non-judgmental. That's what I've been practicing. Cool. It's a challenge.
That is good. Well, I will tell you this. Okay, full disclosure, because I don't know how else to be but just myself. I totally blew it. I kind of like lost my mind for a few minutes, and it was with a group of really high profile stagers, and we were all within a private group discussing a bunch of things, and they were all talking about these wonderful, marvelous things that were going on within their business and everything. And I was listening, and my mindset went into to think I'm a loser. And so when it was my turn to speak, they came to me and I go, I have to admit it. This is what's going on. I feel out of control. And it's just like, and you know what though? What I realized was that my actually taking that wall away and being willing to say, I don't know what to do right here. I don't know what to do in the middle of all this, turned out to actually be the right mindset for me to have, because the information and the encouragement they gave me new direction and new focus. So mindset is also the willingness to say, to understand, if you don't know something, you got to speak up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you think, I should know this, I should know this, I should know this. I'm doing some training right now, and I think that's where the seed was planted. She said, look, if you don't know about this, 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 and this, she said, why in the world would you? What in your everyday life would ever prepare you for that? It was a bunch of technical stuff. She says, why in the world who would expect anybody to know that? She says, I'm about to spend about 8 hours teaching you 3 things. And I've got a whole team of people helping me put this together. So don't be so hard on yourself, and just realize there's no reason why you should know this. So my mindset has been going through a swap, because I've been thinking to myself, I should know this. I should know this. I should be able to figure this out. And in the end, now I'm realizing my mindset is admit early that you don't know what it is or how to do it, and seek guidance. There's nothing wrong with that. So that has been it's been a shift in my mindset, which started with my kind of falling apart. So I don't know exactly where I'm going with that, other than to share with folks, it's not a perfect path as you go to change your mindset, because honestly, many times the way that we have things set up has served us well in the past. But as we look to grow and change and do things differently, actively changing that mindset towards a direction that will help us grow can do a lot for us.
And Shelley's just made a comment on that as well, Bobbie.
Mm-hmm. She says, I have felt like an imposter at times. Working through that can be a challenge.
And go on. Sorry. Go.
No, I was just going to say, it's true that, that whole imposter syndrome, I think especially with the social media and our instantaneous ability to get knowledge through the internet, some people's abilities, I mean, you barely say anything comes out of your mouth and you're just thinking about something. They've looked up 27 points as to why you are right or why you are wrong. And they can state them very succinctly because it's all right on their phone, right? And so as a result, I think we're actually stifling ourselves. And we feel as if we can't be those 27 things we didn't know we needed to know without that list anyway, that we feel like we're less than. So I really want to encourage you, Shelley. It's like that whole imposter syndrome is really interesting. My son actually went through this very intensive technology coding program, and when we went to the graduation for the event and everything, there was a person who actually spoke on imposter syndrome. And he said, look, I'm looking at every single one of you, knowing all of you feel like a fraud and that you think you've tricked us into graduating today. And he says, I'm here to tell you that's not true. He said, but do not let that little negativity grow and create a wall between you and opportunity. Because as you sit here today, you know more than most people walking down the street on this particular topic. And as a result, you're always going to learn. You're always going to want to reach out for additional education, but do not sell short what you already know. You're not an imposter. You are an expert who knows that they need to know more, and there's a difference. I loved that. I took that away. I still think about that.
And I think there's something that you hit on as well, Bobbie, was, there is a pathway through mindset. You don't have to tackle the whole pie. You can actually, right. And, you can actually focus. And this is what I've started doing this week, is just focusing on one step at a time, one thing after another. I can't be doing everything else. And if I start thinking about them all at the one time, my stress levels go up and I have no, and I can't think about it. I do everything badly. So it's that, information and observation that just do that one thing, do that. And then next step, next step, next step.
Absolutely.
And
And,
try not to go
again,
and look at the others. That's
well, it's true too. And I think we're looking for progress. We're not looking for perfection. I love that. I've heard that now through Marie Forleo as well as Amy Porterfield. And it's all about, just get moving. It doesn't have to be perfect, because I have a tendency to do that perfection paralysis myself. But my mindset now, as I'm learning to change, is, you know what? I don't have to be perfect. I just need to be progressing. And it may not be as perfect as what I would like it to be, but you know what? I've got people who are doing it even more sloppy than I am as I'm progressing and not perfect. They're even more sloppy than me, and they're passing me up because they are more concerned about just getting progress going. So this is the mind shift change for me, and it's a little unnerving on some level, because I always want to do the very best I can, but what I've realized is that's my excuse. If it's not
And
perfect,
it's interesting, Bobbie, because I see it in this process right here, where there's a lot that needs to be done in the background, and I'm really not across all of those things. So sometimes, I got the email this morning and it said, "Welcome to our first home staging business breakthrough," and I was like, okay,
yeah.
It's a lesson, but so I apologize if you get any weird emails, if you think that we're not communicating. It's usually my fault, and so I'll wear that one.
Well, I was
And
gonna say,
I'm learning too.
yeah, it's like, and the thing is, all you can do is laugh. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
come on. If we were perfect, whoever's perfect, raise your hand high, because I want to meet you. And that's probably it. I probably wouldn't want to hang out with you, because then who wants to be reminded they're not perfect,
Intimidating.
right?
So
Yeah.
let's get into the questions, Bobbie, because I can see we've got a few questions and comments there.
Okay.
So we can probably weave our message into the questions.
Perfect. So Lorelei says, I'm meeting a realtor tomorrow morning to introduce her to my business. I want to show her I'm confident, even though I'm just starting out. How do I go in the mindset that she will like me? Okay. You know what I'm going to say, Tracey, right?
I do. But go ahead, please.
It is much more important that she respect you than like you. Hear me again. In business, it is much better for folks to respect you than to like you. Now, I'm not to say that people can't respect you and like you at the same time. That's wonderful. But don't go in there trying to get them to like you. Instead, go in there with the mindset that they are going to see you as a true professional. And I'll make some recommendations about how I would recommend you meet with a realtor for the first time. But I know Tracey has things to say on the same topic too.
Lorelei, I would also say, and this is something that Bobbie has said in the past too, but it's so true, going in as a listener rather than a speaker, that you are really there to hear about what she needs and what she's looking for from you. And, then you have to decide whether that suits your business model, that's going to work for you or for both of you, because I feel that you also don't want to compromise your, I sound like a soothsayer, and
Yeah.
a psychic. I feel that. And Orlando's here as well. Sorry,
Hi,
Lorelei. And I just want to say that, you want to do your homework. Find out as much as you can about them, but don't be making any assumptions about that either. Have that knowledge there, so that when they speak about things, answer knowledgeably and be comfortable with the information that you have, and being ready to be able to listen, and learn from them, because this is an educational opportunity for you too. And don't be afraid to ask the question of what would you be willing to pay for that?
You go. Exactly. That's really good advice, Tracy. Honestly, what I would recommend, Lorelei, is that when you go in there, as Tracy was saying, have that mindset of a listener. Go in with the idea of not how can I show her everything that I can do for her? Because you know what? That's not really what they want from you. Here's the mindset shift. What they want to know is what's in it for them. So if you go in there and if you start telling them all the things you're going to do, it may not be what they're looking for. So instead, go in with that questioning mind. I tell my people all the time, take a pad of paper and a pen and ask a bunch of questions of the realtor, letting them know that you're concerned about where they are in the process, about their company, about their business, where they see staging to fit inside, what are they looking for. There's a whole series of questions to ask. And that way you come across stronger than when you come in and like give it all away. When you come in and say, I can do this, this, and this, and this, that positions you differently versus, okay, imagine this. I come in and I sit down. Okay, well, this is what I can do for you. I do this and 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 this. And I have pictures and here it all is. Da, 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 da. Versus, hi, it's so nice to meet you today. So tell me, what are you looking for? Do you see the difference? One thing, they sit back and it's a passive experience for them. The other, you're drawing them in engagement. And the whole thing is about relationship with your realtor or agent partners. So if you make it about them, they remember that.
Lorelei, would you like to role play this with Bobbie? Are you happy to do that, Bobbie?
Oh, sure.
Okay,
Is Lorelei going to join us?
I'm just going to give you a voice, Lorelei. Are you happy to do that, Lorelei? I can't see. Yes, she is.
She says, yes, I do. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hold on. I'll have to get all my acting classes in my head. Hey, Lorelei.
Hi, Orlando.
Yeah. Hey, Orlando. Here.
Hello, everyone, and hey, Orlando.
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, Lorelei, Bobbie is the real estate agent that you're going to meet tomorrow. Let's get started.
Okay.
You've arrived.
Okay. Okay.
I'm the receptionist. Hi, how are you doing? How can I help you today?
Hi, my name is Lorelei Scott. I'm here to meet so-and-so here.
Oh,
I'm with
just 1 second. I've got a phone call. Won't be a moment. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
Hi. How are you today?
Okay, you would like to see Bobbie McGrath. Look, let me just see if Bobbie's available. Ding, 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 ding. Bobbie, I've got Lorelei here to meet with you.
Oh, that's right. I was expecting her. Go ahead. Have her meet me in the conference room.
Okay, fantastic. So, Lorelei, I was just playing with you so that you knew that it may not be smooth sailing as you
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, you did good.
Here we go.
Okay, so you're in the conference room.
Hi, you must be Lorelei.
Yes, hi, Bobbie McGrath. How are you?
I am well. Go ahead and have a seat. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure.
Okay. I'm here. My name is Lorelei Scott. I'm with Majestic Staging Design. And sorry, the phone went off.
Okay.
I like to find out and see what you're looking for and what I can do for you and how we can work together.
Okay. So let's see. So I would say, well, okay, so tell me about you. I'm setting you up, Lorelei, so you can change the situation. So, well, tell me about yourself, Lorelei. Mabel gave me your name.
Okay, well, I've been in the real estate industry for 8 years, and was working with investors to sell homes as owner finance. And I got involved in redesign and staging and found it interesting to go ahead and start my business in staging and help realtors like you to be able to sell the houses at a top dollar amount that's would help profit in your pocket. And I like to start the staging business and partner up with a realtor and see what we can do to work together.
So what do you charge?
It depends on the packages. I we can talk about certain. There's 4 different packages and you get a discount on partnering with me.
Okay.
Thank you for all of your comments, Lorelei. This is really insightful because I'm sure it's really helpful for everyone else to see what's happening in the conversation. That it's kind of cat and mouse, and at the moment Bobbie is the cat and you're the mouse, and you're talking and you've given so much information that Bobbie's only question left for her. How much is it?
Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to flip roles now, and Lorelei, you get to be the agent, and I come in to see you.
Okay.
Okay, so be nice. Well, no, be whatever it is that agents will be like.
Okay. Hi. I guess. Hi, Bobbie. How can I help you?
Yeah, hi. Are you Lorelei Scott? I was supposed to come in and speak with Lorelei Scott. She's an agent that contacted me. I'm a home stager.
Yes, ma'am, I am. I'm Lorelei Scott, and we have spoken before. Yes.
Oh, good. It's so nice to meet you. So, can we go back to your office or conference room? I mean, would you chat?
Yes, we can go back to the conference room.
Great. So we go in, we sit down. And then, most likely, this is what I would do. I'd say, so Lorelei, tell me all about yourself. I've already Facebook stalked you, so I know a little bit about you. But tell me about you and your business.
Well, we've been in the business for 8 years. I've been as a real estate license for a long time, and I have been very interested to get to know you on how you can be able to be part of our business to stage our homes. And I'm interested to find out what you can provide for me.
Okay, well, do you mind if you can tell me a little bit more about your business, and I'll explain to you how I would fit into your business model. So do you mind answering a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay, well, first of all, if you're wanting stager, you do mostly listing? Do you work with some buyers? What do you do?
I do mostly listing.
Okay, and so primarily your homes, are they vacant or are they occupied when they enter the market?
Most of the time is vacant, and some of the time it's occupied. But
Okay.
I would rather like the house staged and vacant.
Okay. So you prefer working then actually on the vacant side?
Yes.
Okay. So, how many listings a year do you have generally? A year?
Maybe 30 listings a year.
Okay, great. Well, I'm just curious, what are you wanting from a stager that you work with? What are you looking for with a stager that works with you?
Somebody that is experienced, that's been in the business for a while, that is easy to work with and very committed, has a great personality. I mean, just a stager that is confident, that color coded, and just things that
Color-coded. I love that. What does color-coded mean?
means that the color in the house that can pop to make the buyer can see the home that is really make them feel like it's a home that fits their personality, that they can relate.
Got it. It sounds like you understand staging. That's great, because a lot of times the realtors I work with, they really don't have a clue. So it's good to know that you've got an idea of what you're looking for. So thank you for that.
You're
So,
welcome.
all right. So what I would do at this point is I would talk to them because I'll pretend I'm back in my vacant days too, when I also did the vacant side of the business. Okay. So that was an aside. So, well, I would say, well, actually, it sounds like we could probably work together well because I actually offer both sides of the business. I do the vacant as well as the occupied. And with the vacant, I have two warehouses and I've got my delivery and I've got my teams. And oh, talk about color. I'm known for my color and I'm known for being able to communicate really well with clients. And I honestly, I really think one of the most important things I can do for you is to be a good communicator and to make sure that you're not having to, speak up for me, that I can speak directly to the clients and make sure that everybody knows what's going on all along the way. Also on the occupied side, I think you might be surprised. The occupieds that you get, I can make those babies sing. And it's people a lot of times are afraid that they're going to have to spend money. But you know what? I come in there, utilize what they already have in their homes. Many times we don't have to bring in anything else and help them get stronger. So, I looked online before I came in. I told you I did a little Facebook stalking on you. And I got to say, I love your photographs. You have a really good photographer. I can tell that they're technically really sound. And you know what, though? I know what I could do. I could really take those photographs. Can I be so bold as to ask you, are you paying for the photographs at this point?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I would love to take whatever it is that you're investing into those photographs and get the return on that investment totally increased. I know I can do it with the stagings that we can do for you. So the way that I work is with the vacants. I'd have my proposal. I'll go in, take a look, put together my proposal. I put together 3 different levels of choices. I explain all my process on that. And then once the client takes a look at it and decides to move forward, I send the contract. Once I receive the initial payment and the contract, we schedule the date. And then it's just a matter of installation. And depending on the size of the house, most of the time we're in and out half day, full day for the larger homes. And then the whole destaging process when those babies sell are there. So I love to work with realtors who understand staging. And I was asking questions earlier to see, it sounds like you're pretty knowledgeable. So what do you think? Does that sound like we might be a fit together?
Yeah, that sounds great. Sounds wonderful. Yes.
That's fabulous. So do you have a team that you work with? Can I meet any of them? I'd love to meet your team.
Well, right now you're just going to work with me,
Oh, okay.
and I want you to be able to stage some of my houses.
Perfect. Well, I love that because then I get to work with the main person. So that's fantastic. So, well, do you have any listings that you were thinking of right now? Should we go ahead and take a look at those? Do you have anything online? And that's what I would do.
Okay.
Does that help
Got
at
it.
all?
Yes, it does. It's actually, my first time meeting a realtor to be able to provide my staging business. So, she's really enthusiastic to meet with me. So
Good.
the information that you provided and shared with me is scaring me right now.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. It's like you just look at it, kind of think about the stuff we talked about, and now you'll know to talk about it. Whereas before, it might have just been totally out of left field. You're going to find the flow that works best for you. And you're going to go in there, you're going to say things. And when you go back out to the car, you're going to go, dang, that part was really good. And you're going to write that down. And then you're going to think, oh, when they said this, I didn't know what to say. And you're going to be brilliant on the way home. And you're going to think of all the things you should have said. And that's when you pull over and write down all those things you should have said for next time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because experience, that's what I did. I was brilliant on the way home.
Yeah, well, it's great information.
They're good.
And I think one of the things that Bobbie teaches, Lorelei, is that, and this is what I've gained just from her speaking every week, is that she talks about this worked and this didn't work. She never says, and she never says, I didn't work. I wasn't good enough for that. There's never that thought, when Bobbie approaches it. So when we come back to talking about mindset, this is not personal. Nobody is judging you personally. It is just an opportunity. You're there. It's, you know, you're being, you're there in front of someone. Do you have a follow-up email? Have you already written a follow-up email for them? Have you got some sort of process in mind for communication past this one appointment, which might help you? Is there anything like that?
Yes.
And Lorelai, there was one thing I really want to pull out from what you said when we went through the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You immediately said the word discount. Please don't do that.
Okay.
What you did was you immediately discounted your services. You immediately reduced the value of your services by using that word. Instead, think along the lines perhaps of something like, I have a preferred realtor partner or a preferred agent partner program. And, you know, and then I wouldn't start off by saying my consultations are $500, but you get the discounted rate of $400. Don't do that. Please don't. Instead, let them know my consultations are $500 is part of my Get Acquainted promotion. What I'd like to do is offer an additional hour, which would usually run $250 for the addition. What I would like to do is gift your clients that additional hour as we're getting acquainted, because you deserve to be paid for your time. So don't discount your rate. Just increase the time that you're going to be there. You can say, you know, up to an additional hour or up to additional half hour, but don't give your money away. Because once you discount your price, that's the price they know they can get you. And you deserve to be paid. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
I think
You
the
bet.
other
Good luck.
Oh yeah, good luck.
I know, I'm excited. The first one, you'll always remember your first one, Lorelai.
Okay, thank you. I will let you know how it goes tomorrow via email.
That's great.
Okay, perfect.
And I think the other thing too is to remember that you're not the hero of this story. Your client is actually or your potential channel partner, the real estate agent, is actually the hero of the story. So you really want to allow them that, you know, that opportunity to shine in that conversation. You know, you want them to be telling you things. What are you going to say, Bob?
Tracy, did we talk about the whole hero and the number one? Did we talk about this last week?
I don't think so.
Okay, this is like perfect timing. It's like, it was like saying you don't want to be the hero of the story. And the example that was given was Star Wars. The hero of this story is Luke Skywalker, right? And oh yeah, you don't want to be the hero, you want to be the guide, because the hero is flawed. And a lot of times, you know, they get in their way of themselves. But there's Yoda or Obi-Wan, right? And they're the guide, and they're wise, and they've been through it. And I mean, the hero just doesn't get there without the guide. So I love the idea of, I don't want to be the hero of the story. I want to be the guide. So I don't know if I would prefer to be, compared to Obi-Wan Kenobi or Yoda, but that's what I've decided. I think it's much better to be seen as that guide that allows them to reach greatness, because that's always consistent, right? So it's interesting, that term, yeah.
And that's true, that if you see yourself as the guide, because you have the experience of having been in real estate for a long time, so you're speaking to one of your peers, but you have that additional opportunity of understanding home staging, of having used it in your real estate business, I'm assuming that's what got you to here. And, you know, so that you've actually got information that you can share with them, but you don't want to give them all of your information. You want to take them on the journey with you. If that helps. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other victims want to jump up and get in the hot seat? We'd love to.
Well, let's see. That was Lorelai, and Orlando says, hi, y'all from San Antonio. I was getting into that whole Southern thing. And then Lorelei said, yes, I do. And Gail says, thank you, as this is so helpful, especially with Bobbie being the stager. And then Gail says, love the no discount, but instead offer additional time. And then Lorelei also said yes again. So perfect, perfect. So questions, I know Orlando was having questions last week that we had to cut off at the end. So I don't know if he wants to ask questions.
Orlando's a font of knowledge as well, so he's making great comments in the chat box too. So thank you, Orlando. Orlando's got a question for us, Bobbie.
Would you like to have a realtor as a panelist? Sure. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Always love to talk to real estate agents.
Yes.
And it's really interesting when you talk to real estate agents who don't use home staging, and it's as interesting to speak to people who use it very successfully. And just the mindset, again, coming back to mindset and the different ways that they focus their business, you know, how much work are they doing themselves if they're not engaging a stager, that kind of thing.
Oops.
You're ringing your bell, Bobbie.
I did. I rang my own bell. Is that weird? Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to stop your talking, Lorelei, so that you can have a quiet moment. And I will send this out straight away. Last week I didn't send out straight away, and Orlando will talk about that afterwards if that's okay. You and I can PM about dates and speaking to real estate agents. So that would be
perfect.
Brilliant.
Okay. Perfect.
And
so, Tracey, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
What has been like the biggest mindset change that you've gone through from the time you first began your business? What was like the biggest epiphany that you've gone through that you really look back and think that was a game changer for me?
It's really interesting. I think that there is. I feel probably I love the one-to-one of home staging, but I also love the opportunity to do this type of one-to-many work. And I think that that as far as my business goes, that's been a game changer for me, just to be able to talk to more people and learn from more people. But I think yeah, it probably is. Oh, the wind sound is back. Okay. Let's see if I can. Wait a sec. I know. Start again. I've had some sound issues. I dropped my computer, so we'll just work on that. How's that sounding now, Lorelei?
Much better. Much better.
Okay, great. We're plugged directly into sound. So that I would say, I'd probably have to say meeting you, Bobbie, in 2015, going to the RESA convention was a game changer for me, because I was feeling like there wasn't a huge home staging industry in Australia, and that meeting peers, meeting people who knew more than I did, and, you know, having that collaborative community was really the game changer. Took me a little while to get there. What about you?
Probably the biggest mindset change for me was when I decided that I didn't have to do everything, because especially with staging being in the infancy that it was in my market when I started 15 years ago, I just thought that in order to be a stager, I had to do both sides of the business, and that I had to perform in a certain way, and that I was supposed to do things a certain way because somebody else from another market or another era even had said that that's the way you do it. So once I realized that I didn't have to do it the way that I thought everybody else was doing it, that was a huge relief. It was a huge mindset change. So that's been a huge change in my business. It's been a huge change in my personal life. It's been just a huge change. And it was that mindset that rather than try to be good at everything, what I decided was I was just going to pick the one thing that I wanted to be, that I just wanted to do really well and that I really wanted to help people with. And so since I focused in on the one thing, now I'm able to work with realtors with training, as well as working with them one on one as a stager, but training with home stagers. And it's even allowed me to be more focused and more effective for the home sellers. So that mindset change of trying to do everything. And again, remember I said I was trying to always be perfect. So I was always, I never felt like I was good enough at anything because I was trying to do everything. When I made that decision to focus in, that's when things really became the most interesting for me.
And I think you bring up a good point too of, those, for me, it was probably that the mindset changes are the ones that you recognize as being the pivotal moments. And for me, that mindset change was really being able to give myself permission to stop behaving like an employee in my own business. That I had to really, I struggled with that transition of going from employee to business owner. And I'd worked for charities for 12 years before I started my home staging business. So I was afraid to charge anybody in those first few years. So really been an interesting journey. I think that the entrepreneurial journey is the hero's journey, that we see in popular fiction, and it really is. And so you just know the trajectory is very seldom is it directly up to the, straight up. There's a lot of story along the way that you have to learn from.
Yeah, I would really be interested if anybody that's here would want to share, like if they've had an epiphany. I mean, I know Orlando's gone through a lot of changes in his business through the last few years, and it's just finding out, like what's been the mindset. Like when you started your business, what was the mindset versus a year in, if you happen to be a year in, versus 2 years, and what's been like the biggest surprise maybe that you didn't realize you would know. I mean, those are the kind of the things that I'm looking at. So, oops, Orlando is muted.
He's muted. Oh, I thought I just unmuted you.
Might need to get his permission to unmute him.
Talking permitted. Talking. Oh, he's muted. I see. Unmute. Okay, you're unmuted, Orlando. Would you like to tell us about your story, your the perils of Orlando?
Hey, Orlando.
Hi guys, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep, can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm driving, so just good thing for these things that you can drive and talk at the same time. So it's safe. For me, I think that moment was pricing, right? So when I visited one of the RISA conventions, that to me was like a light bulb. It's like, okay, we're charging too less. I mean, I'm not the most expensive person in town, but I'm not the less neither. So it's about gauging that, that right level in order to stay competitive. And I think pricing is one of the things that it's a big topic in our industry. So
it is.
For me, that was that, and defining what my services are and what I provide with that pricing. This is what I provide. This is what I do, and just stick to it. Because we had realtors in the panel as background. You have to stick to your guns. It's like you cannot let Tom, Dick, and Harry dictate you what your prices are. When you go to Walmart, they give you a price. You don't have a penny, they're not going to let you purchase that item just because you don't have a penny. So that was the moment where I said I needed to, step up to the plate, stick to my guns, and make it happen. You
There you
know.
go. Orlando, I'm agreeing with you about the whole pricing thing because, uh, and this is what I keep talking about. I spoke at the RISA Mastermind we had down in Florida, and I spoke on pricing. And one of the things I was saying is you can be the least expensive vacant stager in town, and that is okay, provided that the product you produce still allows you to make a decent margin so you can make a living, right? But then your model is going to be different. Maybe what you do is you only stage homes up to $200,000, but you do volume, right? Um,
Right.
versus versus doing 10 luxury homes a year where they're Mac Daddied out and you've got $150,000 worth of inventory in those homes. So it's just like whatever your price point is, just step back and whatever you're comfortable with, and just make it, because your price is your brand, right?
Totally agree. Totally agreed. Totally agreed.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in business, Orlando?
Well, I did started my business in 2009 as a redesign company. But then I learned that the money wasn't flowing as fast as it would be on staging, right? Because staging is you get in, you get out.
Hmm.
And the psychology, and Bobbie, you're great at that psychology part of it. I grounds to you. Um, it's just not, it wasn't my thing. It was like too much hand holding, too much decision making for the client to make themselves to purchase an item and to make decisions. So I flipped it to staging because that was more easy money, right? Come in, go out. So, but
And
I guess we'll talk about that when I come on the show.
when you come on the 16th of
Yeah.
August. And I love that comment about pivoting, though, because I think that's a really important thing to do. As Bobbie's been saying earlier, don't take it personally, but also know when to pivot. Don't agonize over, but this is where I really feel I should be. I think you have to you have to move quickly and pivot where you see opportunities. And where you're not getting traction, there's a number of ways that you can look at it. But if you feel that you are doing everything you can to bring those real estate agents with you and they're not coming on board with you, then you need to make changes to either the service or how you're offering it. So constantly thinking about, constant, what is it, never-ending improvement.
Totally agree, Tracy. Totally agree. But I want to add to your point, though, and I mentioned before, sticking up to your pricing. That does not mean that you're not able to negotiate. And like you say, Bobbie, before, it's not giving anything for discount, but then offering a service, an added service. And as entrepreneurs, we do have that liberty to stay and choose, right? So you have to look at where things are coming from in terms of, am I able to give this person an added value by adding an hour of consultation for the same, time frame or the same amount of money? You're adding that value, but then is that realtor is going to give you a lot more business. So as entrepreneurs, as I mentioned, we have to be cautious of that and see what the really business, how much potential business can we obtain from there if we're able to be a little bit flexible and give away some, not giving your prices away, but giving a little extra. Oh gosh, we're gonna have a topic on this one all night long.
Exactly. That is great, and thank you so much for your comments. And we do look forward to having you up here on the panel on the 16th of August. So have we got any other questions?
August or April?
April.
August. I'm sending you back to August. I'm sorry. April.
April. I was going to say, wow, you've planned ahead, Tracy. I'm impressed.
Yeah. One day, one fine day, we'll have the whole year planned out.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you, Orlando.
I'm looking-
Thanks for talking to us while you're driving too. You know.
Thanks, Orlando. So
You're
let's
most
see.
welcome. It's a pleasure.
See you soon.
Thank you.
And so we've got Karina and Deb and Gail and Janet and Kim and Sandy and Shelly and Stephanie. Y'all don't need to be shy if there's like a question. If you don't have to come on if you don't want to, but like, do you have a question about mindset? Because one of the things I really want to encourage you to realize too is that the mindset, I liked what Orlando was saying. It's like you have to have that mindset of, you are the expert, but I don't want that to come from a place of arrogance, because I've had some stagers that I've coached, and they said, but they've got to understand I'm the expert. And I said, because of the way that you just said that says to me you're not. Because if you're desperately saying, but I'm the expert, you have to listen to me, that proves you're not. Instead, what I would recommend you consider doing is show them that you know what you're talking about. Showcase the fact that and have that confidence built on education and experience. And if you're new, you may not have experience yet, but you're really blessed to have experience. You can get it through times like this online. There's a bunch of us that do things like this. There's also the overview education, as well as the specialized education that you can get. That will help put you miles ahead of people who just poof one day, wake up and become a stager. So I want you to think about, the mindset of being an expert, or being, I think sometimes expert almost has bad connotations to it anymore, but being an authority. Let's put it that way instead. That you're an authority in the area of home staging. And so that when people ask you questions, and that you're not feeling threatened when they push back because they don't understand why you just recommended to do something, if you'll stand back instead and think, okay, if I were in their shoes, what type of knowledge would I expect me as the home stager, as the authority, to have? And if you don't have it, the good news is you can go and get it. Another option, like some people, I've actually got home stagers who are colorblind, so they really cannot do color consultations. But, what they could do is pair up with someone who is a good color consultant and bring them in. That still keeps them in the role of authority. So put in the mindset that they are not hiring you, they are collaborating with you, and that you are the authority in this area. I think that mindset alone changes the way you walk into a room. It changes the way you react when people push back. And it also changes the way that you discuss your fee structure whenever money comes up.
That's fantastic, Bobbie. And we do have a message from Lorelei there.
Okay. Let's see. Jump. She says, ha, ha, ha. I created my staging portfolio to show the realtor what I can do and offer. That's a good mindset, right? Absolutely, baby. That's perfect. It's just like, absolutely. It's like when they start asking you, so, tell me how you work. What's great is you just open your portfolio and say, you know what? My photos are going to do my talking for me. And that's great. I'm glad that you've done that.
Thank you all for joining us today. We are just over the hour, and it's time for us to go. It goes so quickly, doesn't it, this 1 hour, Bobbie? But we would, so Gail's got a question. Have we got time for one more question, Bobbie?
Sure, we've got time. Yes.
Okay. Would you like to pull up Gail's question?
It says, would you please give examples of how to work a realtor network event as a stager? I won't know in advance who will be attending, and it will be at a Hard Rock Cafe. Oh, Gail, first of all, you're going to have to wear this jacket. If you're going to Hard Rock Cafe, I'm just saying. I'm all into the leathers today. So I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. I had somebody say, are you a biker chick today? So, so Tracy, do you want to give some examples?
It depends. Is it a sit down or a stand up meal, Gail? And so that gives you, if it's a sit down, you've kind of got to pick your marks, I suppose, or where you sit and just hope. So Gail says she's a biker chick as well, Bobbie. So it's a stand up.
There you go.
Stand up is great, Gail. So your job is to work the room, and which you've already said, and that means you're just spending about 5 minutes or so until the conversation gets stale, speaking to 1 or 2 people around the room. And the way that you do that is you can start a conversation with someone, and I had a very good colleague who was so brilliant at working a room. She was a PR person, and every event, she would spend a couple of minutes with people. And one of the ways that she did it, and I do this now too, is that she would just pick out something about the room. Gee, this is a beautiful venue. Wow, this drink is great. I hadn't expected to see so and so here, or the speaker's great. Anything that you can pick up out of the room. It's not getting too close and personal. You're not going up shaking hands saying, I'm Tracy. You're just kind of casually engaging in some non-invasive conversation. So, and then you can just sort of chat about things generally, allow them to ask you what it is that you do, how did you come to be here. Then you get an opportunity to talk about their business, invite them to talk about theirs, get a business card from them, let them know that you're going to call them later, and that's kind of the end of the conversation. Then you can drift off, and I'm trying to think of some of the lines that you use to drift off, but oh, look, I'm just going to refresh my drink, or whatever. Oh, I must go and speak to so-and-so over there. Don't spend too long with them. The conversation will get stale, and you won't have anything to say. What about you, Bobbie?
Okay, so people a lot of times are surprised by this, because you might think I would just go in and talk to everybody. I don't really like networking. I don't like to do networking. When I go in there, I go by myself because my company is me, myself, and I. So it's not like I have somebody with me. So when I go in there, honestly, I learned this technique. I made this up years ago when I would attend functions with my husband. Here's my technique. I'll go into a group. You get there, and I don't want to be the first one there. I like there to be a few people ahead of me. I get in there. When I walk in, of course, you see people and you'll say hello, but I actively look for the people who are not talking to other people. And because because there's the animated groups and things, and it's hard for me to go up and break into the conversation. So instead, what I do is I'll find somebody who is just standing off to the side, and I'll go over there and I'll kind of stand next to him and say, hi, do you know anybody here? And they'll say, well, no, or yes. And I'll say, well, I don't really know many folks here. Hi, my name's Bobbie McGrath. And I'll shake their hand. They introduce themselves. And I'll say, yeah, I don't always do well mixing in these things. So I like to talk to normal people like us. And so they'll laugh. And then we'll chit chat a little bit. I find out something about them. Then my goal is this. If I know somebody in the group who's already there, I'll say, you know what? I think that so-and-so should meet you. I will now take them over and introduce them to someone who I do know. Okay. And that's great because that gets them out of their shell, and because they're there to network too, right? And they're just being a little shy. Or what I'll do is I'll go, let's go find us. And what we'll do is we'll go find somebody else who's kind of sitting over to the edge. And I have found through the years, I'll do this and we all have a great time. And we'll talk to each other, and it's a great bonding moment. And what's interesting, many times these are the spouses or significant others of someone, a mover or shaker in the room. And they hate to come to these networkings. And now they start to look forward to them. And so the next time you see them, you come walking in and they're like, oh, Bobbie, hey, come here. I want you to meet my wife. I want you to meet my husband. And it's like you start meeting the people that you would like to meet. And so that's been a technique that I use because I'm just uncomfortable to go in there and be the center of that. I really just want to go in and encourage others. I just, that's just what I do. And I found it fascinating that these conventions and things, I would go with my husband. Usually we spouses were on the outside kind of looking in. And then what was great was year after year, what would happen is we would see each other, we would go, we would have a great time together, but we would always make sure that we would go out and look for us. And we would look for the newbie spouses, significant others sitting in the dark, while their other person is out working the room. And we would become that secondary. And we had the best time. And to this day, in fact, this week, my husband is attending 2 conferences. And he called me last night and he said, everybody was asking where you are. Everybody was asking. And it was because they bring their spouses and we all get together. So that's what I like to do. And in the end, I don't know if I collect a lot of business cards. A lot of times I'll do the whole Facebook connection. While I'm there standing there talking to them, I'll just pull out my phone and I'll go, let's just like each other now. I say, I look them up and down. Yeah, I guess I like you. And so then we'll look it up and we'll laugh and we like each other. Now we have an immediate connection. So that's just a different technique. From time to time, I will be in a more formal situation. I'll do more like what Tracy's talking about, because I know that that's the way that works in those situations. But if I have the opportunity to do it different, I just do it that other way, because that's just kind of the way I roll.
And Kim has said, what a great topic. So let's roll this over into next week. We'll do this next week. I'm going to make a note and see if I can get one of the networking queens who has spoken internationally about networking. If she come and join us next week, and certainly at some time in the future, to be able to talk us through how do we do networking successfully. So let's do that.
Tracy, you know everybody. I swear, you are the networking queen, because it's like I say, someone who, is a professional at selecting purple plants or something, and you would say, oh, I know somebody. So you are the queen of networking. So.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody here, Karina, Deb, Gail, Janet or Jeanette, Kim, Lorelei, Orlando, Sandy, Stephanie, and anyone that I've missed out there. So
there you go.
Forward to seeing you next week.